that some people came in when we were sitting. Welcome. And also some people who haven't been here before, which is great. And I want to acknowledge, if you haven't been here before, it might feel a little rocky or weird. If that's true, I encourage you to do whatever makes you comfortable. That includes changing how you're sitting, asking questions, stepping outside, whatever you need to do to feel like integrated into the class. Oh, coming out of my noting, I'm noting how happy I am to open my eyes and see all of you here. It makes me feel really good. And I told you a story in the first class about the first time that I went to meditation class and having a panic attack. And that class was with, it's crazy to me now, I didn't realize, but that class was with Sharon Salzberg, who is one of my most beloved teachers. And Sharon Salzberg tells a story from when she was learning to meditate with U Pandita, who was a monk in the Thai forest tradition that we're now all in the lineage of. So she was studying in India, and then she had gone to Thailand because she heard that U Pandita was a great teacher and she had an opportunity to sit with him. And as part of that practice, they would sit all day, and then they would have meetings with the teacher to sort of talk about their practice, which is pretty typical for like retreat life. And so she went into the first meeting and she told him, oh, I'm experiencing so much back pain. It's really hard for me to sit all day. I can feel it all in my joints. It's very, very painful. And U Pandita said, well, did you note it? She's like, yeah, pain. I noted it. And he said, please continue. And so she came back, for the next practice meeting, and she would say, it's getting better. I'm kind of getting into it. I feel like I'm much more able to get through the day. The pain is lessening. I'm really surprised by that. She'd give her report. U Pandita said, well, did you note it? Yeah, I noted it. Please continue. And she reports thinking, why did I come all the way to Thailand for this? This guy is supposed to be a great master, and he only says one thing to me over and over again. And then she had another sit where she experienced, for the first time in her sitting, she'd been sitting for a while, she experienced transcendent bliss. This sense of like oneness and communion vibrating with the entire universe. And she thought, oh, he is a great teacher. I wasn't paying attention to the message. And she went to the meeting, she told U Pandita what had happened, that she had sort of transcended her body. And U Pandita said, did you note it? She said, yes. And he said, please continue. Right? That's what we're doing. No matter what it is. That's what we're doing. We're noting it, and we're noting the reaction to it, right? Oh, I feel transcendent bliss. I note it. And that makes me feel pretty proud of myself. I note it. Oh, I feel arrogant. I note it. Oh, I'm judging. I note it, right? To note each thing with no thing having more meaning or value than the other thing. Anything that happens to you is part of the human experience. And if it's part of the human experience, it's worth noting. So we note it. That's what the practice is. This too, and this, and this. Something that's been really fun for me about teaching, because I'm teaching this class and the West Philly class now, is that people will come up to me after class or email me later and say, okay, but not this, right? Like, this is happening to me, and this is definitely not in the circle of things that are allowed, right? Not this. And every time, yeah, and this, right? And your resistance, and your judgment, and your doubt about this whole thing. Yeah, this too. Turns out he truly was a great teacher. Did you note it? Is the question. So I'm wondering if there's anything that's come up in your practice where you've been like, okay, but not this. This doesn't belong. I know some of you have said you feel like the resistance doesn't go on. Yeah.
Noting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I shouldn't be noting. That's not what we're doing. That's too meta. But yeah, I note that I'm noting. And then I note that I feel that I shouldn't be noting. That's judging, right? And then I can follow the thing. Anything else that feels like it actually does not belong? Kind of set you up here because you know what I'm going to say no matter what you say. So April last week gave this really great metaphor, right? That like I'm sitting in a room with my tea and the things come in and there's a back door, right? And very often when something arises and we note it, just the act of noting it will make it walk right out the back door, right? Very often, if you say, oh, my jaw is tight, just saying that will offer some relief. But not always. Some things don't behave that way in your kitchen, right? Some of the things that come up don't act like that. Some things like sit down and won't go out. Things that are demanding our attention. And one way that we might respond to that is to be like, get out, right? But that's not always skillful. Or we might be like, okay, you sit, but I'm not paying attention to you, which also might not be skillful. Very often when things ask for our attention, it's because they need our attention. So how can we give them attention skillfully and not in a way that they then move into our house and we have to like go to court to get them to leave, right? How do we let them sit at the table in a way that is like skillful? When something arises and you note it and it doesn't head out the back door, it often helps to become curious about that thing. I mean, sometimes I'll hear preschool teachers or like elementary teachers say something like, oh, just ignore him, he just wants attention. And I always think that's so weird. Well, he wants attention. I'm capable of giving attention, right? If a child needs attention, maybe I should pay attention to him. And I sort of feel that way about these things that arise too, right? Like, it wants attention. I have attention. In fact, I'm sitting here doing an attention practice. Yeah. So we get very curious about the nature of the thing that has arisen. And there are a lot of good ways to be curious. We can be curious physically. In our disembodied culture, for some people, this is really hard. In traumatized bodies, this is hard and not always advisable. But if you have access to it, it's a really great way to be curious without being dragged along by a story. Okay, something's coming up. It's planning. Where is it? Oh, it's here. It's in this like tightness, this desire to like pitch forward. Oh, what is that like? Well, it's tight and it's hot, right? Asking what is it like and what is it like and what is it like about physical sensation helps us get useful information about what's happening. The question is if, we're doing this noting practice and part of what's happening is you figure out what you note over and over again, like what's always coming up for you. How lovely to ask, well, planning is always with me. What is its nature? Rage is always at my table. What is its nature? Let me get to know it a little bit better. If the body is hard, feelings are even harder. Especially because we usually think of feelings in this very like concrete, limited kind of way. And we usually have judgments about feelings, right? Happiness is good, peace is good, anger bad, sadness bad, right? We've got some judgments attached. So if you're able to be curious about the nature of emotion, you can learn a lot. You can go back to the body. Well, I'm calling this loneliness. But what is it? Oh, it's actually an ache in my sternum. It's a burning, almost like a sore throat. It's a constriction around my eyes and the hotness of tears, right? I'm curious. I say loneliness and then I get curious. What is that in my body? A great question to ask if you're trying to find a feeling or learn the nature of a feeling is, how do I know this is the thing I named it? Well, I said it's sadness, but how do I know this is sadness? Where's that information coming from? And what a lovely thing to know the nature of your own loneliness. Oh, I know this sore throat. This is part of my loneliness. Well, I know this buzz. This is part of my joy. Right? I'm familiar with the nature of a thing that I'm often in companionship with. So the feelings and the body are hard for their own reasons because of our cultural restrictions. But what can be really hard is to be curious about the nature of mind processes. A lot of times it feels like mind processes, like thinking, judging, planning, all those good guys, are us. It's very hard to step out and be curious about the nature of a mind process. Especially because as soon as you invite the brain to take the controls, it will. It's like, oh great, we're doing mind. Boom, I got it, I'm in charge of this. Yes, this is me. Woo, now we're gonna think and analyze. I'm so good at this. And judge. Right? And so it's really hard to investigate mind processes in a way that is skillful. So when I name, I'm judging. And judging sits at my table and won't leave. It's not going out the back door, right? It's going to be here. And I want to be curious about its nature. There are a couple of questions I might ask. What does this judging believe? So let's say I make a judgment. I'm in meditation class, I should be paying attention, but instead I'm thinking about, what I'm going to eat later. God, I'm lazy. And then you go, oh wait, no, that's judging. But judging doesn't go away. It sits there. It's like, why are you like this? It's sitting at your table criticizing you. Why can't you even do a meditation class? It's just sitting. And so you might, if you decide to hang out with judging, you might be like, well, what does judging believe? Does judging believe that it is dangerous for you to sit still? Does judging believe you're only valuable if you succeed? What does it believe? Not what do you believe. What does judging believe? Put it over there and interview it. Learn about it. You can ask your companion, what's the story here? Is the story that you were bad? And then you can go back to the body and the feeling, right? If judging believes that it's wrong to sit still, the temptation, right? It's right there. The brain can't wait to lead you into discourses on capitalism, right? The brain cannot wait for you to be like, well, I'm in a society where, I do it right here, right? Oh, because, and in the day, and I should, right? That's the temptation. But there's another road. Oh, judging. Judging is painful. Oh, shit, I feel judging in my solar plexus, right? We can get to know the nature of judging. This is not analysis, it's data. They are different parts of the process, right? We are not here to figure anything out. We are here to gather data about what's happening. This is tingly, this is hot, this is unpleasant. This carries with it a belief about me, but I don't have to do any analysis of the data. The question isn't, why is this happening? The question is, what's happening? And how might I know it better? How might I know it more granularly? Because really often when you recognize something, you're like, oh yeah, I know this, I did this in therapy. Okay, this is me doing the thing where I'm afraid of abandonment because of my mom. Got it. But that's not a curious relationship to the thing that is happening to you. Your loneliness now has it has a personality and a tone, and it wants attention. And because feelings are just like toddlers, if you pat it on the head, just like the kid, right, who wants attention, if you're like, oh, I know you, you're annoying, it's gonna go over there and cry, and you better believe it's gonna be back in 5 minutes. But if your relationship to it is, ooh, fear of abandonment, what is your nature? You get to learn more about it. And again, very much like that toddler, often if you pay it the attention it wants, it will stand up and get out the back door. It just needed a little attention, and you have attention to give. And when it's gone, you can go back to the breath. See who else is here. You're spending time with yourself. You're spending time with what's here. If you feel like you're getting caught up in brain stuff when we're doing this, you can always look for an answer that is sensory rather than intellectual, right? If you find yourself being like, okay, I'm lonely because, when I was a kid, and you notice it starting, you're like, what is the nature? How does loneliness feel? What do I notice in the loneliness now? So we've been building the things we're playing with in practice, right? Attention, lightly held attention to the breath, right? We're not here to kick ourselves if we lose it. In fact, we are hoping our attention will be lost, which gives an opportunity for mindfulness. We recognize that we're lost. We name the thing that pulled us away. We allow that thing. Sometimes that's the end of the process. We go back. We're breathing. We have a mindful moment where we realize we're distracted. We name it. We try to allow it, and it will not be allowed. It wants a seat at the table. And so we question, we get curious. What is its nature? Let's take it apart and see what the feelings and emotions related to this are until it loosens up enough that it goes out the back door. And then we come back and see what else is here. I'd like to take a moment to just practice with these steps. The noting, the allowing, and then when it seems like the right thing to do, the curiosity. Before I do that, is there anything that you feel like you need to know or have explained or have more information about before you try it? sounds like your game. Last week when I was walking out of here, I ran into a person who I am currently embroiled in like a really annoying disagreement with, and that person is very wrong. They do not understand the situation, and I am very pissed off about it. And when I ran into them, they immediately started talking about the situation and reiterating their wrongness, right? Like just telling me how it was, demonstrating all their like really bad, messed up ideas about the situation that we're in. And because I've been practicing, and maybe because I had just been up here with you, I thought, oh, suffering. And this is not something I did, right? This was not a virtuous action. This was not good behavior. It just happened. I was like, oh, she's suffering. Not on purpose. And so I kind of, with that vibe, let her continue to be very wrong. And then today, this morning, I got an email from her that said, hey, when we ran into each other the other day, I think you really listened to me. And my anger and hurt kept me from listening to you. Can we have that conversation again? I was like, man, that is why I really love the practice. It's so out of my control, and yet it delivers such like lovely, amusing, weird experiences.